Alright guys, so this video is another Patreon request, and this one comes from my good friend Jason Voorhees 2011, who asked me to do basically like a topic video of talking about what other Elseworld comics could work as good DC Universe films. DC animated films, of course. Since we are having the Doom that came to Gotham, and we've had others, Superman Red Son, we've had several great what-if stories, even like Dark Knight Returns. A lot of people forget that's an Elseworld story. So yeah. But as always, if you'd like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon, where you guys can hit the 4th tier, and start sending me requests for videos to do here on YouTube. But other than that, let's get started with this video. So, anyway, for this video, we're gonna be talking about first and foremost, like, let's get this out of the way first and foremost of what Elseworld story, like, what counts as an Elseworld story? Well, is it in the main DC continuity? Nope. Then I consider it Elseworlds. That's really like, I know they haven't used the Elseworld title in a long time. I'm well aware they haven't used the Elseworld line, because DC really likes to do this whole thing of both trying something new and then instantly dropping it. They try to do like these new things and then instantly get rid of it. Like, it's one of those things. So first and foremost, what's the one Elseworld story they haven't done yet in animated film? Kingdom Come. Like, that's the obvious one, right? Kingdom Come is the big one. It's the end-all be-all for the Elseworld stories, and probably one of the most seminal DC comics ever. Like, when you think of legacy DC Universe stories, Kingdom Come, though it is an Elseworld story, is one of those comics where it has such an influential impact on everything. So but the question is, like, how would you do this? Like, Kingdom Come may be 4 issues, but it is 4 very big books, and it is a comic that basically is just a monster. It is just a monster of a story. And you really have to get this is a story you have to get right. So this is something you need to get your A game for. This is something that would have been perfect, sadly, for Kevin Conroy, but he's no longer with us. I do think, though, this is a project that would have to be... sorry, the sunlight is in the way. This is something that you would have to get, like, George Newbern and Susan Eisenberg. You can get the other... You may not be able to get the total trinity, but you can still get 2 of the 3. Or, you know, Tim Daly. You could probably still get Tim Daly to voice this version of Superman. I just prefer George Newbern. I know, heresy, but I think he's a very good Superman. Yeah, and this is something you'd have to split up into 2 parts. This is one of the big ones that you would have to split up into 2 parts, with the first 2 in the first movie, and then parts 2 and 3, 3 and 4 in part 2. It's going to be, because unless you want to go all out, and because this is a film you cannot skimp on. You can't just do one animated film and be like an hour and 14 minutes long. That's not how this works. Like, that's literally not how this is going to work. You need to give it your A game 100%. So this would be a 2-parter unless you have the balls to make it a 2-hour animated film direct to DVD. But Warner Brothers is in no way going to greenlight that. They're going to go with the 2-part route and then make a deluxe edition with both parts fused together. That's the only way I can see it. So let's talk about some other ones. Now, this film is not considered Elseworlds, but it's totally Elseworlds. That is Tom Taylor's Deceased. Deceased, the moment I read it, and I've talked about it before when I did my review on it, Deceased is perfect, absolutely perfect for an animated film adaptation. Deceased is a very self-contained story. It really, you could tell the whole fucking story in the amount of time it would take to do. This wouldn't need a 2-parter, even though, yes, it is 6 issues long. It does move at a fast enough pace where you could do, quite literally do an entire animated film in like an hour 20 minutes. that's it. Like, it moves at such a fast pace, it could work as an hour, 20-minute film. So, Deceased would be perfect. And you have sequels. You have a bunch of sequels you can do and spin-off movies. You have a whole universe right there that you can play with. If you want to keep going back to it, you have enough source material to really drag this out if Deceased does well. So that's something to really also take into account. As for another Tom Taylor project, though it is not finished, I would definitely say Dark Knights of Steel. You know, with The Witcher being so big, and obviously fantasy being always his big thing, just imagine, fantasy version of DC characters. So that would be perfect. I think Dark Knights of Steel would be another great addition to the DC animated films if you wanted to go Elseworlds. Absolutely 100%. I think that's a Dark Knights of Steel. As for another, and this would be completely fun and also fit in the under hour and a half mark, the Jurassic League. Yes, it's not done, but I think it just what if the Justice League were dinosaurs? That's literally the answer, the proposition the question it's propositioning to you. Got tongue-tied there. And your answer should be yes. So, Justice League as dinosaurs. How cool is that? Like, that's perfect in of itself, right? So, I think that would be really good. And again, I think it moves at fast enough pace where you could tell the whole story in that short amount of time. As for others, I think we've talked about the really big ones. As for other fun ones, I'm trying to think, because there was another one that was on my mind. There are some weird ones that I don't think could work. There's really some, like, Batman Holy War? Or was it Holy Terror? Yeah, it was where Batman was a Puritan, and it's weird. I don't think we need that. Another is... Well, actually, I think it would be kind of cool if we did a sequel to Batman Gotham by Gaslight, which there is. There actually is a sequel to Gotham by Gaslight called Batman Master of Tomorrow, which is actually a lot of fun. It has more of a brighter feel to it, and is pretty interesting. It's a neat idea. As for another, Batman Houdini, The Devil's Workshop. If you haven't read that story, it's a dark mystery story involving a version of a child kidnapping Joker and a vampire. And it has Batman and Houdini teaming up. It's a really cool story. I think it would be a lot of fun and just the idea of having Batman and Harry Houdini together. I think it really does write itself. So Batman Houdini, The Devil's Workshop would be another cool one. So I think that'd be pretty neat. I think that would definitely lend itself into the animated series. An animated movie. As for others, I would say another big one, and I've been saving this one for last, Batman Dracula Red Rain. They kind of did it in The Batman versus Dracula, but I'm talking about a full Elseworlds take on it. Like, this could easily work as an animated trilogy, or just as a one-and-done story. Either way, I think it definitely works. Batman versus Dracula, Red Rain, and make it... Yeah, Vampire Batman. That's perfect. Right there. A Vampire Batman literally writes itself, doesn't it? Like, yeah. So, there you go, guys. Those are some animated films. You guys tell me in the comments below, what DC Elseworlds, what DC Elseworlds stories would you like to see done as animated films? Just comment below, let me know. And once again, I'd like to thank Jason Voorhees 2011 for this Patreon request and continued patronage. And other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.